Welcome back to World Information HD, where we uncover the hidden treasures lurking in everyday history. Today, we're diving into a mind-blowing topic: the top 5 rare Lincoln Wheat Pennies from the USA that could be worth millions. These aren't just old coins, they're wartime errors, legendary mint screw-ups, and key-date marvels that command jaw-dropping prices in the collector world. Whether you're a casual coin hunter or a die-hard numismatist, you might just be sitting on a fortune, so stick around as we reveal the most astonishing Lincoln pennies ever made. The story of the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny is one that continues to excite collectors, historians, and anyone who hopes that the spare change resting inside a jar, drawer, or old forgotten tin might hold a hidden treasure. Coins are more than small pieces of metal. They are physical timelines of the nation that minted them. 1 cent, struck over 80 years ago at the height of uncertainty, change, and global turmoil, can today become a priceless prize in the hands of the right collector. Among the many classic American coins, the 1941 wheat penny from the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark at all, stands out as a popular piece that has gained tremendous respect in the collecting world. Not for reasons of rarity alone, but for condition, history, desirability, and the fact that high-grade examples have shocked the marketplace by selling for unbelievable amounts at auctions. The year 1941 stands as a major turning point in United States and world history. America had not yet entered World War II, but tensions were rising and the world stage was changing rapidly. Factories and industries across the country were growing, manufacturing was speeding up, and the mint was producing coins by the millions. Yet even in a year of heavy mintage, the smallest details of a coin can transform it from pocket change into a legendary collectible. That is what makes the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny such a fascinating subject for coin enthusiasts. Over 887 million pennies were produced in Philadelphia in 1941, making it one of the higher mintage years of the wheat cent series. For most people, that number suggests that the coin is extremely common. And in circulated condition, that is true. Millions remain available today, making well-worn examples easy to find in collections, coin albums, and even change. But the real secret of this coin is not how many were made, but how few have survived in flawless condition. Every collector knows that demand increases when the supply of high-quality examples becomes limited. Even with hundreds of millions minted, only small numbers have survived with original surfaces untouched, free from scratches, handling, environmental damage, or dullness. Mint state and certified high-grade pieces with original red luster are the ones that buyers aggressively pursue. The marketplace places enormous value on condition, and the 1941 wheat penny is living proof of that. Professional grading companies evaluate and certify coins using advanced procedures, magnification, and standardized criteria. A coin may appear beautiful to the naked eye, but not meet the highest standard under grading examination. So when a 1941 penny earns a top-tier grade such as MS67 or MS68 red, the coin instantly becomes a prize that stands far apart from average survivors. Collectors who focus on registry sets, competitive listings where the highest graded examples earn rank and status, are often willing to pay significant money for a chance to secure a top specimen. For new collectors or viewers new to this hobby, it is important to understand what makes a wheat penny from this year special. While circulated pieces are common, uncirculated coins with strong original color can be extremely difficult to locate. The long storage of coins in bags, jars, boxes, and bulk containers over decades often cause the surfaces to rub together, creating tiny marks or friction that immediately lowered their potential grade. The climate they were kept in also matters. High humidity, environmental chemicals, and exposure to air can cause copper to turn dark, dull, spotted, streaked, or unevenly toned. This is why bright, original, sharply struck, clean surfaces on a coin from 1941 can trigger excitement at auctions. The rarity of perfection makes the price climb dramatically. What also adds value is the historical appeal of the Lincoln wheat cent. The design itself is a celebrated masterpiece. The profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse became the first regular-issue U.S. coin to depict a real person. Victor David Brenner, the designer, created a portrait that has been used for well over a century. The reverse, featuring 2 wheat stalks surrounding the statement, 1 cent, and United States of America, remained in use until 1958. These coins mark an era of American strength, simplicity, and tradition. Collectors love wheat pennies not only for financial reasons but for the sense of history they hold. So, what makes the 1941 no-mint mark penny particularly attractive to collectors today? The answer is a combination of availability and challenge. Beginners can easily obtain circulated examples, which makes the year accessible. But finding a flawless example can become a lifelong chase. Every top-grade coin that surfaces becomes the target of strong bidder competition. Even among raw coins, those not yet graded, it takes training and experience to spot a high-quality survivor. Sharp strike details, clean surfaces, and full original luster can be signs that a coin has the potential to be a high-value treasure. Many collectors still search coin rolls, estate collections, inherited jars, and dealer inventory in hopes of discovering that one perfect piece waiting to be certified. This pursuit is even more exciting when one considers that there are no expensive mint errors necessary to make the coin valuable. Some years produce repunched mint marks, doubled dies, lamination flaws, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other premium errors. But for the 1941 Philadelphia penny, the greatest value rests in perfect preserved condition, no error required. The value comes from craftsmanship, eye appeal, and scarcity at the top level. That is the beauty of this coin, simplicity combined with rarity. A collector does not need to find a dramatic mint-made mistake to strike gold. A perfect example is enough. Professional grading opens new opportunities. Coins graded MS66 red or MS67 red already command large market prices because they are desirable and visually impressive. But the competition becomes fierce for the few known to reach MS68 red. Those are the examples that astonish auction watchers. When one of these nearly flawless wheat pennies crosses the block, bidders know they may never have another opportunity to purchase one in quite that condition. The population reports posted by major certification companies show just how few of these exist. When the number of known examples can be counted on 1 or 2 hands, the value begins to rise dramatically. It is no surprise that collectors with deep pockets and deep passion fight for the right to own one. A perfect 1941 penny is not just a coin, it is a trophy representing collecting mastery, rarity, beauty, and a tangible piece of America's past. A coin that cost 1 cent when it was minted now becomes a prized artifact that demands respect inside a display case. Even after 80+ years, the 1941 penny continues to teach the same lesson. Great coins need not be rare in mintage, only rare in quality. The average collector may be holding one that is worth face value, but someone with an eye for detail may hold a future auction star without even realizing it. This is why collectors always recommend never ignoring wheat pennies and change. Copper coins, especially older pieces, deserve inspection. A forgotten roll or overlooked envelope could contain a lifetime discovery. People who have attended major auctions know the feeling. When the bidding begins, auctioneers unleash numbers at lightning speed as collectors raise paddles, press electronic bids, or click online increments. A humble cent becomes the center of attention in a room filled with wealthy buyers, historians, advisors, and market watchers. By the time the hammer falls, the crowd may be stunned by the final price and the prestige now attached to the new owner. A simple coin, created during a year of national uncertainty, now becomes part of a world-class collection with certified documentation, registry recognition, and historic permanence. Many collectors dream of such a moment, that one coin they discovered, purchased, or inherited might become one of the most coveted pieces of its year, and that dream has already become a reality for some owners of the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, with one of the finest examples selling at auction for an incredible $40,993. The year was 1942, and the United States found itself in the middle of a world-shaping conflict. World War II was fully underway, factories were running day and night, steel was being rationed, copper redirected toward ammunition and military equipment, and the country was pushing forward with a sense of urgency unlike anything America had ever experienced. Yet even in those challenging years, everyday life continued. People still bought newspapers, a loaf of bread, a ticket at the movie theater, and of course they still carried money in their pockets. But among the small copper coins used in daily transactions, one stood out in history: the 1942 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. A coin many people spent without a second thought, only to discover decades later that this small copper piece could turn out to be worth a fortune. Today, this video takes you deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, focusing entirely on the 1942 D Lincoln wheat penny. Many collectors search for this specific coin not only because it is a product of wartime America, but because some specimens have survived in nearly perfect condition, leading to unbelievable auction results. For people who collect coins, the 1942 D wheat penny is more than just a collectible. It is a treasure from a turbulent era, a time capsule made of copper, history, and remarkable craftsmanship. Before understanding what gives this coin its value, we must first look at how it came into existence. The Denver Mint, marked with the letter D beneath the date, was one of three major United States mints operating in 1942. Located in Colorado, this mint produced millions of coins for circulation, and among them were the Lincoln wheat cents. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner decades earlier in 1909, a design that collectors and the general public quickly grew to love. On the reverse, two wheat ears flank the words 1 cent, giving the coin its famous name, the wheat penny. The 1942 D penny was part of the last years in which the United States used pure copper for the 1 cent coin. By the following year, in 1943, due to the extreme demand for copper needed for war equipment, the government shifted to producing pennies made out of steel with a thin layer of zinc. This makes the 1942 D coin historically significant because it represents the final chapter of the traditional copper penny era before America's wartime adjustments changed the landscape of coin production forever. Even though millions of these coins were minted, only a tiny percentage survived in top condition. Most pennies of the time were used heavily, spent at grocery stores, candy counters, bus stations, and ticket booths. Children carried them in pockets, people saved them for emergencies, and many were tossed into coin jars or mixed into drawers. When this much circulation happens, the majority of coins become scratched, worn, dented, faded, or stained over time. That means only the rare examples that escaped everyday handling, perhaps stored carefully in folders, coin albums, or inherited collections, are now capable of achieving high prices at auctions. Collectors today look closely at the condition and grade of the 1942 D wheat penny. A coin's grade is like a report card for how well it has survived the decades. Grading companies such as PCGS and NGC evaluate coins based on details like sharpness, mint luster, and whether the surfaces are free of scratches or damage. Lower-grade worn coins can be worth a small amount above face value. But the higher you climb toward mint state grades, the more valuable this coin becomes. When collectors find one with full original mint luster, crisp definition in Lincoln's hair, and strong wheat stalks on the reverse, they know they may have something special. Another attraction of the 1942 D penny is the craftsmanship itself. Many coins from this period, especially from Denver, were produced with a strong strike. The details on the portrait, the lettering, and the wheat ears often come through sharply when preserved well. This makes the most pristine pieces visually appealing even to those who are not full-time collectors. The admiration comes not only from rarity but also from the artistic quality of the coin itself. Some collectors also enjoy searching for varieties and errors among these coins. During the war years, the mint machines worked fast and continuously, and not every coin was struck under perfect conditions. Error coins, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, or doubled dies, can make a coin even more desirable. Imagine holding a coin that has survived more than 8 decades while also showing a unique minting flaw that makes it one of a kind. Such pieces can sometimes bring premium values far beyond normal price ranges. The world of coin collecting is filled with stories of everyday people who discovered fortune in small change. Many collectors found expensive coins in bank rolls, in change drawers, or in old boxes passed down through generations. This is why so many enthusiasts today still carefully check their loose change. Every wheat penny that turns up triggers a moment of excitement and anticipation. Could this coin be one of the rare survivors? Could this coin be the one stored untouched for more than 80 years? And could this be the coin that changes someone's life financially? The 1942 D penny continues to attract attention online, at coin shows, and in auctions. Experienced collectors know the market and always watch for high-grade examples. Dealers often comment that the demand for top-quality wheat pennies has never slowed down. New collectors enter the hobby every year, wanting to hold a piece of history and build portfolios that may appreciate in value over time. Meanwhile, older collectors continue hunting for the best surviving specimens to complete their professional Lincoln sets. This coin has a deep connection to a defining moment in American life. When people look at it today, they don't just see a copper cent. They see factory workers building aircraft and tanks, soldiers training in camps across the country, families adjusting to wartime rationing, and newspapers filled with stories of events overseas. Holding this coin is like holding a moment of American strength, change, and resilience. It is a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry enormous meaning. For those who want to collect the 1942 D wheat penny, it is important to know what to look for. First, examine the coin's color and surfaces. Uncirculated examples should still have their original mint shine. Next, inspect Lincoln's hair, beard, and the wheat stalks for strong definition. The better the details, the higher the potential grade. Also look for minimal scratches, nicks, or spots, especially on the open fields of the coin. If the coin appears especially sharp and clean, professional grading might be worthwhile, as certification can greatly increase selling power in the collector market. If the coin is circulated, it still has collectible interest, especially if it has pleasing toning and minimal wear. Some collectors even enjoy lightly circulated pieces with character and history. But among all conditions, the highest prices always go to the rare uncirculated examples that escape the wear of everyday life. Collectors should also understand where to sell such a coin if they find a valuable example. Auction houses, online bidding platforms, reputable dealers, and graded coin markets are some of the best places to connect with serious buyers. Coin shows also provide opportunities to meet collectors face-to-face and receive expert feedback, helping people understand the true worth of their coins. As time passes, coins like the 1942 D wheat penny only become more desirable. They are not making any more of them. Every year, more pieces are lost, damaged, or quietly stored away forever. Because of that, the supply of high-quality 1942 D pennies continues to shrink while demand remains strong. For new collectors, this coin is an exciting entry point. For advanced collectors, it is a key piece that completes historical Lincoln penny sets. And for investors, it represents a physical asset with tangible historical value. One day, someone may come across this coin in an old jewelry box, in a forgotten coin jar, or in a relative's collection. That moment might be simple, but what follows can be extraordinary. No one expects a small penny worth 1 cent to achieve an auction record that sends shockwaves through the collecting world, but sometimes, that is exactly what happens. The highest value paid for a 1942 D Lincoln wheat penny in pristine condition reached an astonishing total of $37,776. In today's video, we explore one of the most fascinating and widely collected coins in American numismatic history, the United States of America 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. A small 1-cent coin that millions of people have held in their hands, spent at stores, collected in jars, or tucked away in drawers, not realizing that one of these humble coins might be worth a tremendous amount of money today. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but its historical background, production era, and collector demand have made it one of the most thrilling pennies for collectors to hunt down. By the end of this video, you may find yourself checking your old jars, wallets, coin albums, or even pocket change to see if you possess one. The 1944 Lincoln wheat cent came out during a unique and transformative time in American history. The country was deep into the events of World War II, production factories were running day and night, and the U.S. Mint was striking billions of coins to keep the economy working at full speed. The 1944 cent came right after the famous 1943 steel penny, which had been produced from zinc-coated steel instead of copper due to wartime metal shortages. Because copper was important for weapons, shells, wiring, and other military supplies, the 1943 penny was made from steel. However, this was short-lived, and in 1944, the U.S. Mint switched back to copper, mainly using reclaimed materials from fired ammunition shells and military supplies. This is why many collectors today consider the 1944 penny not just a coin, but a small piece of American wartime history. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not use mint marks during this era, produced an enormous number of 1944 pennies. Tens of millions were released into circulation, and most of them lived common lives in pockets, registers, bread shops, markets, and everyday commerce. Because of the enormous circulation numbers, most 1944 no-mint mark wheat pennies you may encounter will be ordinary and worth just a few cents to a few dollars. But for collectors, rarity is not only defined by how many were made, it is defined by the number that survived in exceptional condition. Almost every coin from this year circulated heavily. Millions developed scratches, dents, rim wear, loss of shine, and loss of original detail. Only a tiny fraction remained in pristine condition. This reality is what creates truly stunning value for the finest examples known today. To understand how much value a 1944 no-mint mark penny can carry, we must think like a collector, a numismatist, someone who loves the details of coins. When a professional examines a coin, they look at everything: the sharpness of Lincoln's ear, the clarity of the wheat stalks, the height of the lettering, the smoothness of the fields, the presence or absence of luster, and the quality of the strike. On a standard 1944 penny, even small imperfections can drop the value significantly. But when a coin survives untouched for decades, with original surfaces, shining red coloration, and nearly flawless detail, collectors may fight to obtain it, especially in the high-grade mint state levels. One thing many people find exciting about the 1944 penny is that the war changed the metal composition slightly. While still appearing as standard copper coins, many were produced from metal recycled from artillery shell casings. The metal was melted down and reused for civilian coinage. This means that everyday purchases of the time were literally made with the repurposed remains of war. For many collectors today, owning a 1944 wheat penny is not only owning money, but owning a physical connection to American determination, sacrifice, and industrial power during the wartime era. Another important reason this coin draws such attention is the possibility of rare errors. The 1944 coin is known to have some unusual and very rare mistakes, including leftover steel planchets from the 1943 production year. Although most of those have mint marks, the idea that an occasional steel blank made its way into 1944 production adds mystique to the coin's story. However, even normal bronze pennies from 1944 can carry incredible value when found in the highest grades. Collectors seeking the finest examples usually look for coins certified by major grading services. When a coin is graded professionally, it receives a score on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. Lower numbers represent heavy wear, and higher numbers represent coins that are well preserved. Grades above 60 represent uncirculated coins, but the extremely rare grades between 67 and 70 are nearly impossible to achieve, especially for a coin that has traveled through time, pockets, and decades of handling. That is why the finest 1944 wheat cents can be worth extraordinary amounts of money. Many people who own old coins believe the value comes from age alone, but that is only part of the equation. What truly matters is survival quality. Think about how many billions of pennies were made in the 20th century. Pennies were among the most used coins in everyday transactions. Nearly no one saved new ones as collectibles. Most went immediately into the hands of the public. As children ran through candy shops, merchants gave change, and housewives paid for groceries, pennies circulated until they were worn thin. The sharpness of Lincoln's beard would disappear, the wheat lines at the bottom would smooth out, and the rim would eventually flatten. A high-grade 1944 penny avoided all of this. It may have stayed in a bank vault, a coin roll that was never opened, or a collector's album shortly after minting. Surviving in excellent condition is what makes a coin valuable today. Now imagine standing in front of a coin auction hall. The auctioneer begins calling out bids for a pristine 1944 wheat penny that looks as though it left the mint only yesterday. Every detail glows. The golden red copper catches the light, and the fields are smooth and sleek. No scratches, no handling marks, no discoloration. Collectors instantly recognize the rarity of such a piece, and bidding begins fiercely. It rises and rises and rises again. This is how seemingly ordinary coins end up selling for breathtaking amounts, capturing the attention of collectors, newspapers, and coin enthusiasts around the world. This is why so many people today, even people who have never collected coins before, are suddenly fascinated with wheat pennies. The idea that something resting in a jar of old change could have incredible value is exciting, emotional, and surprisingly real. Every year, someone pulls a coin from grandma's dresser, a box in the attic, or an old coin folder and discovers that it is worth far more than they ever imagined. If you are new to coin collecting, here are some signs of a high-value 1944 penny. The coin should have original mint luster, sharp lines in Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat, strong definition of the wheat stalks, and crisp lettering. The color can matter too. Red, red-brown, and brown are used to describe the copper shade. Bright red examples are usually the most valuable. You should also look closely for any visible marks, spots, or scratches. Even a tiny flaw can make a big difference. If you believe you have an exceptional example, professional grading can help determine its true value. The 1944 wheat penny also holds sentimental value. For millions of Americans, this coin represents a time when the country was united in effort. Families planted victory gardens, soldiers fought overseas, and industries worked overtime. The penny itself is a survivor of a time that changed the world. Holding one is like touching history. Each coin circulated through the hands of people buying ration products, saving money, and living in uncertain times. It is an object that has seen life, struggle, war, victory, and the rebuilding that followed. It is amazing to think that something so small, so common, and so easy to overlook can carry such powerful meaning and value. The next time you look at a simple penny, remember that not all pennies are equal. Some carry stories. Some carry rarity. And some carry shockingly high price tags. This particular 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, in the finest possible condition, once sold for $38,464. The story of American coin collecting is filled with legends, overlooked treasures, and humble coins that once passed through the pockets of everyday citizens, only to become highly valuable decades later. Among these surprising gems of American numismatic history is the United States of America 1954 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. What was once a simple copper coin used in grocery stores, soda shops, and everyday purchases has now become a sought-after collectible that serious collectors and coin investors eagerly seek out. Today, we journey deep into the history, rarity, features, and hidden value of this coin, exploring why this coin has become so desirable and why certain examples command astonishing prices at auctions. Before we explore the potential value of this coin, we need to go back to the year 1954. The United States had emerged from the upheaval of the Second World War less than a decade earlier. American factories were booming, industries were expanding, and suburban communities were growing faster than ever before. The country was transforming, televisions were entering homes, the economy was strong, and the American middle class was forming the foundation of a new era. During this time, pennies were widely used in daily transactions. Even coins like the Lincoln wheat cent, which we now consider historical, were simply spare change used for candy, bus tokens, diner meals, and shopping. Hardly anyone would have predicted that such coins could one day become rare, collectible, and worth impressive amounts of money. The 1954 penny was minted in Denver, one of the primary U.S. mint branches responsible for massive coin production. That year, more than 250 million Lincoln cents rolled out of Denver's presses. With such a large mintage, you might assume that this coin would never be rare or valuable. After all, millions existed. However, as collectors know, The true value of a coin is rarely determined by quantity alone. Instead, value comes down to preservation, condition, errors, historical context, and the gradually shrinking number of high-quality survivors. Many coins from 1954 circulated heavily. These pennies passed between thousands of hands, endured years of wear, picked up scratches, and slowly lost the sharp details that collectors prize. Most found today show signs of heavy usage, dinged rims, dull coloring, flattened features, and fading legends. Finding one of these coins in brilliant condition today is a challenge, and finding a superb example untouched by circulation is even harder. Time, wear, and neglect have eliminated countless high-quality coins. The years have turned once common pieces into prized survivors. But why does condition matter so much? In the world of coin collecting, the tiniest details make the biggest difference. A Lincoln wheat cent in poor condition may be worth only face value or slightly more, but a coin with crisp lines, deep luster, sharp lettering, no discoloration, and flawless surfaces can command astounding prices. A coin in pristine condition might look as though it was minted only yesterday, even though it is 7 decades old. These are the coins high-end collectors chase. These are the coins that compete at auctions. These are the coins that have the potential to shock collectors with their final sale price. The 1954 wheat penny features all the classic design elements that make the Lincoln cent one of the most beloved American coins ever produced. On the obverse, or front side, we see the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's face is strong, confident, and emblematic of American leadership. The word Liberty stands to the left of the portrait, while to the right is the mint year, 1954, along with the small D mint mark, indicating the Denver Mint. Above Lincoln's portrait, the familiar phrase "In God We Trust" curves across the top edge in traditional fashion. On the reverse side, the wheat ears flank the denomination 1 cent, giving the wheat penny its iconic nickname. These wheat stalks represent American agriculture, prosperity, and the hard-working spirit of the country. Above the denomination, we see United States of America, and at the top in bold lettering, E pluribus unum, a phrase meaning, out of many one, reflecting the unity of the nation. These design elements remain consistent throughout the wheat cent's production run and make the coin instantly recognizable to collectors. Collectors and historians appreciate this coin not just for its craftsmanship, but also for its connection to a defining era in American history. The 1950s were a decade of transition, growth, and technological development. The penny that people once carried without a second thought is now a link to a world of diners, drive-ins, jukeboxes, and war veterans rebuilding their lives. Every coin is a relic of that period, a miniature time capsule of post-war American life. So what makes some examples of the 1954 penny truly stand out? The answer is in the grading. Third-party grading services have become the gold standard for verifying coin condition. Coins certified in extremely high grades such as MS65, MS66, MS67 or above indicate near-flawless preservation. These coins possess undeniable eye appeal, brilliant luster, razor-sharp strike, and little to no handling marks. Only a tiny fraction of the original 1954 pennies survive in such spectacular condition. These are the coins that bring bidding wars, attention, and headlines. Some examples with exceptional sharpness, vibrant color, and premium surfaces have stunned collectors with their selling prices. Coins that were miraculously preserved and protected from circulation through time have surfaced in collections, safe deposit boxes, forgotten rolls, and estate holdings. When submitted to professional grading services and given exceptionally high grades, these pennies transform from ordinary copper cents into elite collectibles sought across the country. Sometimes the story doesn't end with condition alone. Besides high-grade circulation strikes, there are occasionally unique minting variations or striking anomalies that catch the attention of specialists. Although major dramatic errors from this year are less common compared to some other dates, minor variations do exist. Off-center strikes, die cracks, early die states, repunched mint marks, and other subtle differences can elevate interest and increase desirability. Even without prominent errors, eye appeal alone can be enough to elevate a coin's stature. Imagine standing at an auction, surrounded by passionate collectors, investors, and lifelong numismatists, all watching a gleaming 1954 D penny sitting under the bright camera lights. The bidding begins quietly. 2, then 3 hands rise. Suddenly, the price climbs higher. Collectors exchange determined glances. The auctioneer's voice sharpens. Cameras flash. The price reaches an astounding level that shocks newcomers but feels perfectly justified to the specialists who understand rarity. When the hammer finally falls, the room erupts in collective exclamations. A simple penny has achieved a sale that places it in a completely different league. This is what makes coin collecting thrilling. No other hobby allows an ordinary-looking copper coin to transform into a museum-worthy piece, a historical artifact, and a financial asset all at once. That transformation comes from knowledge, preservation, care, and patience. It also inspires collectors to keep searching pockets, coin jars, inherited collections, rolls from banks, and forgotten tins hidden in attics. You never know where a treasure may be waiting. Even today, collectors and hobbyists continue to search for this coin in high grade. You might spot a 1954 D wheat penny in a collection and think little of it at first. But if the surfaces glow with mint brilliance, if Lincoln's hair retains deep texture, if the wheat lines on the reverse remain razor sharp, then you might be holding something truly special. One important fact remains clear: the best examples are scarce, and their value will only rise as time goes on and the number of high-quality survivors decreases. The humble wheat penny has long captured the imagination of collectors. For many, this coin is the gateway into deeper explorations of numismatics. Its design, history, and nostalgic charm continue to resonate with new generations. Whether you collect for investment, history, or the excitement of discovery, the 1954 D penny represents one of the fascinating chapters in the story of American coinage. And now, for those who eagerly wait to hear the number that stunned collectors at auction, a remarkable specimen in extraordinary condition once sold for an astonishing price of $33,883. In the world of American coins, some pieces of metal hold much more than monetary value. They hold history, national memory, and stories from decades of change. One such coin is the United States 1956 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. A coin that millions have seen in pocket change yet only a few truly understand. This is a story that travels back to the mid-1950s, a time when America was entering an era of optimism, fresh inventions, and new faces of leadership on the way. And in that atmosphere, the Denver Mint produced one of the most widely struck pennies of the wheat series. But while the 1956 D penny is common in general circulation, a select few examples have achieved incredible value in the collector world, shocking coin enthusiasts, professional graders, and even auction houses. Today, we explore what makes this penny special, why collectors chase the highest grade examples, how to understand the value of this coin, and what rare errors can transform a single cent into a small fortune. The story begins with the coin itself. The 1956 D wheat penny belongs to the classic Lincoln cent series, which started in 1909 with the introduction of the first circulating coin to feature Abraham Lincoln. The wheat ears on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and progress, were a staple of American coinage for 50 years. The Denver Mint, marked with the small letter D below the date, produced more than 1 billion pennies in 1956. Because of this high mintage, the average circulated 1956 D penny is easy to find in coin shops, online markets, and among inherited collections. But collectors know something crucial: not all coins are created equal. A coin's condition, rarity, strike strength, and sometimes a mint-made error can skyrocket its value to unbelievable levels. To understand what makes these coins valuable, we need to go inside the world of coin grading. The grading scale begins at a level called good, where a coin has been heavily used with much of the detail worn away. At the other end is mint state, where the coin has never truly been circulated. Mint state itself ranges from MS60 to MS70, and each number represents an improvement in sharpness, luster, and originality. MS67 and higher are where prices start to climb dramatically because few coins survive in such remarkable condition. The reason is simple: Most pennies struck in 1956 entered circulation immediately. They rattled in metal cash drawers, rubbed against other coins in pockets and wallets, and lost their perfect surfaces within days. Finding a 1950-60 penny that has never been touched by circulation and remains nearly flawless is like discovering a time capsule from the exact moment it left the mint. Collectors consider such coins treasures, and auction houses have paid astonishing sums for them. The design details of this coin also contribute to the excitement. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln faces right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1956 and the D mint mark just below. On the reverse, the familiar wheat stripes stand proudly on each side, with 1 cent and United States of America in the center and E pluribus unum above. The simplicity of the design is what gives it strength. It is unmistakably American, symbolic of a nation that had emerged victorious from the Second World War and was now entering a time of booming industry and growth. The wheat reverse itself would disappear only 3 years later, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. That change alone makes the 1950-60 penny part of the final era of original wheat cents, and collectors love coins that mark the end of a historic design. While the standard 1950-60 penny is affordable in circulated condition, what truly drives excitement are rare mint errors. The United States Mint is known for precision, but even the best machinery sometimes misfires, and the mid-1950s were a time when manual die handling was still common. One of the most sought-after errors from this year is the repunched mint mark, where the D appears doubled or tripled. During those years, mint marks were punched into each working die by hand. If the punch shifted slightly between strikes, the coin produced from that die would carry multiple impressions of the mint mark. These are known as RPMs, and varieties like D/D or D/D/D are considered premium coins. Some errors go even further. There are off-center strikes, where the design is pushed too far to one side due to misalignment between the coin blank and the striking dies. There are broad strikes, where the coin expands outward because the retaining collar failed during striking. There are die cracks, where the metal of the working die itself began to break, leaving raised lines on the coin that collectors call cut errors. There are even struck-through errors, where grease, cloth, or debris was trapped between the coin blank and the die, leaving an impression of the foreign material in the finished coin. While each of these errors is dramatic, their price depends on visual impact and how rare the specific example is. A small, barely visible strike error may bring a modest premium, but a large dramatic off-center strike or a strong doubled mint mark can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. The most valuable examples, however, are not error coins but perfection coins. These are coins that entered the world of coin grading and came back with a nearly flawless mint state grade. These coins show blazing original luster, crisp details, and no noticeable scratches, contact marks, or discoloration. Some show special eye appeal, with red surfaces that look exactly like the moment the coin left the dies nearly 70 years ago. These examples capture imagination because they represent what a 1-cent piece was meant to look like in its time, untouched by decades of wear. The rarity does not come from how many were minted, but how many survived without damage. Even with over 1 billion produced, only a tiny fraction remain in the highest known grades. Collectors often ask how to find valuable pieces among ordinary ones. Searching old coin jars, inherited collections, mint rolls, and estate sales remains a strong method. Many older Americans stored change in jars, tins, or drawers for years or decades, and sometimes those jars contain remarkably preserved coins. Some collectors buy unsearched rolls from estate liquidations, hoping a high-grade example or rare error might be hiding inside. Others attend coin shows where dealers bring full boxes of wheat cents to inspect. Knowledge is key. A good magnifying glass helps with mint mark varieties, and understanding the difference between red, red-brown, and brown surface color can greatly affect value. A coin certified as full red in mint state is significantly more desirable than one that has toned to brown. It is also important to emphasize that coin grading is a skill learned over time. New collectors often believe they have a perfect gem when the coin is only average, but with practice the eye becomes trained. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC provide authentication, standardized grading, and secure holders, which the collector market strongly prefers when paying high prices. Without professional certification, top-value coins are much harder to sell at their highest potential, because buyers want assurance that the grade and authenticity are correct. Sending a coin to grading is an investment, but when the coin comes back with a high mint state grade, the results can be spectacular. The 1950-60 pennies most amazing sales have happened at major coin auctions, where bidding becomes intense and collectors compete fiercely for the best-known example. When a coin reaches the top of the population report, meaning that no other graded example is higher, its value accelerates dramatically. Being the finest known example of a common date penny transforms it into a trophy piece. Some collectors build registry sets, where they compete to own the highest graded example of every coin in a series. In that arena, a common date becomes a battlefield for elite collectors who want to dominate rankings. That competition is what drives prices from hundreds to thousands and beyond. So, what can we learn from the 1950-60 Lincoln Wheat Penny? It shows that a coin does not have to be rare in mintage to be rare in value. It shows that condition and quality can completely change how a collector sees a coin. It teaches that the United States Mint, even in massive production years, produced coins that today are still appreciated for their beauty and craftsmanship. And for those who enjoy searching pockets, rolls, and inherited boxes, the 1950-60 penny represents a dream, that something extraordinary might be sitting right in front of you, unnoticed for years, until knowledge, research, and patience reveal its true worth. Some of the finest known 1950-60 Lincoln Wheat pennies in perfect red mint condition have sold for an astonishing $34,838.